Presidential candidate Tom Steyer stopped by Compton today. Annenberg Media spoke with him about the effects of climate change.
U.S. Army trucks are leaving Syria as President Trump announces another foreign policy decision. We'll have reaction in a bit.
And a new health center breaks ground in South LA. We'll take you there and show you who will benefit from its services.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
I'm the candidate who has by far the greatest history of fighting climate change over the last 10 years. I've taken on the oil companies and beaten them. I've taken on the utilities and forced them to go to 50% clean energy by 2030.
Presidential candidate Tom Steyer stopped by Compton today to help plant trees and speak with residents about climate change. Good evening. I'm Cecil Hannibal.
And I'm Kellie Miller. We'll let you know about how residents reacted to Steyer's visit.
2020 Democratic presidential candidate and self-made billionaire Tom Steyer has dedicated his campaign to fighting for progressive causes, specifically fighting climate change. He believes that every tree planted is a step closer to saving the planet.
So if we're going to do tree planting to show that actually planting 1 trillion trees is a critical part of solving the climate crisis, and we're planting a tree for every volunteer in the campaign, we wanted it to be in a place that symbolized our commitment to the communities where this society has chosen to focus its air and water pollution.
Compton residents appreciated Steyer's decision to visit their community. They say they're looking for a presidential candidate they can trust who will help bring their city together.
I feel good. I feel damn good. Donald Trump ain't coming to Compton. I can tell all my friends, hey, somebody touched down here to talk, not somewhere else here. I'm trusting you. You come into Compton. Don't just come. Be a part of what you're talking about.
One of Steyer's campaign promises was to plant a tree for every volunteer who helps with this campaign. Today, he began fulfilling that promise.
Members of the LA Black Lives Matter are in downtown protesting against District Attorney Jackie Lacey's re-election. Annaliese Tusken is live now at the rally.
Thank you, Kellie. I'm Annaliese Tusken for Annenberg Media. I'm standing outside the Hall of Justice for a march commemorating 2 years of consistent weekly protesting against District Attorney Jackie Lacey for her inability to protest people as well as honoring the lives of those who have been lost. As you can see behind me, many protesters are here chanting the names of those who they have lost. Protesters have been demonstrating since 4 o'clock with signs saying, quote, "Murder by the police is permanent family separation," as well as Black Lives Matter. They say the DA hasn't done enough to protect black people from police brutality. Lacey is up for re-election next year, and many don't want that to happen. The official Facebook page is called Jackie Lacey Must Go 2 Years Strong. At the start of the event, there was a pouring of libations onto plants, which serves as a soil. This was done while protesters named those who've lost their lives, family members, community members, and even Nipsey Hussle was mentioned. Many of the family members of those who have been affected stood in front of the banner, while the crowd did what was the opposite of a moment of silence. Instead, blessings were uttered and other forms of verbal support were said. People have been coming out here every Wednesday for the last 2 years, protesting Jackie Lacey. They believe that she is not supporting the LA County community, and 550 people have been lost as a result of this. For Annenberg Media, I'm Annaliese Tusken. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Annaliese. Another parent was sentenced today in the college admissions scandal. Jane Buckingham is the CEO of an LA marketing firm and the author of several parenting books. Jane Buckingham was sentenced to 3 weeks in federal prison. She had paid $50,000 to a proctor to take the ACT for her son. Now she has to pay a $40,000 fine. Buckingham is the 11th parent sentenced out of more than 50 who were charged. Buckingham is one of 19 parents who have pleaded guilty in the college admissions scandal. And President Trump has ordered an end to economic sanctions against Turkey.
Our political correspondent Nathan Hyun has more on the president's latest foreign policy moves. Nathan?
Thanks, guys. It did not take long for the president to remove the sanctions against Turkey imposed just over a week ago. This in response to Turkey's invasion of Syria. Trump declared success for his policy despite a widespread belief that the U.S. withdrawal from the region has been a victory for Turkey and Russia.
This was an outcome created by us, the United States, and nobody else, no other nation. Very simple. And we're willing to take blame, and we're also willing to take credit. This is something they've been trying to do for many, many decades. Let someone else fight over this long, blood-stained sand.
As for the Democrats, well, they say that the president has put the United States in harm's way.
President Trump's uninformed, whimsical, and indifference to loyalty and life decisions on the phone with the President Erdogan will result in disastrous consequences for U.S. national security and has undermined U.S. credibility on the world stage.
The president says the United States will only engage in military conflicts where the U.S. has a clear path to victory. Both Democrats and Republicans say this withdrawal betrays our Kurdish allies and creates an opening for Russia to move into Syria. Cecil?
Thanks, Nathan. Today, a House committee grilled Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg about his plans to develop a digital currency. This comes at a time when some are questioning whether the social media giant has gotten too big.
Now, I believe that this is something that needs to get built, but I get that I'm not the ideal messenger for this right now. We've faced a lot of issues over the past few years, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who wish it were anyone but Facebook who were helping to propose this.
They also questioned the CEO about Facebook's handling of hate speech, privacy, and misinformation. It's been a year and a half since Zuckerberg appeared before members of Congress. In a rare example of bipartisanship, some Democrats actually agree with President Trump. Both sides are concerned about the tech giant having its own digital currency.
Strong winds and dry, hot weather make for a dangerous combination this time of year. To prevent another fire disaster, PG&E is moving forward with power shutoffs affecting almost 200,000 customers throughout Northern California. Here's what PG&E meteorologist Scott Strenfeld expects with the heavy winds.
Based on our forecasted wind speeds and pressure gradients and other metrics that we track on the weather, we do expect this event to be weaker than what we saw in the October 9th through 11th PSPS event, but we are expecting it to be the second strongest offshore wind event of the season thus far.
PG&E says the blackout will impact people in 17 counties, mainly in the Sierra foothills and the North Bay. As of this afternoon at about 2 p.m., outages hit Napa, Sonoma, Lake, and Mendocino counties. By 1 a.m. tomorrow, shutoffs will begin in San Mateo and Kern counties. PG&E says the peak period of the wind should end around noon tomorrow. Once those high winds settle, PG&E will begin restoring power. But they do warn customers to be prepared for a possible shutoff this weekend.
Today was the groundbreaking of the Martin Luther King Behavioral Health Center. This new facility will provide a holistic approach to problems like mental illness, substance abuse, and homelessness in the South LA community.
An actual behavioral health care center that provides mental health services, substance abuse treatment services, as well as some services around primary care and urgent care.
It's actually inspiring, especially for those of us who have family members who suffer from mental health issues with nowhere to go. This is much needed.
This health center will provide a facility for those on probation as well as services for working members of the community and those who are retired.
They can come here and get put back together to be treated with dignity, purpose, and have their self-worth esteemed and their sense of personhood lifted up, and that's what this campus represents. We've invested over $1 billion right here on this campus to make it a beacon of health, recovery, and rehabilitation.
The Martin Luther King Behavioral Health Center is the first of its kind in Los Angeles County and is set to open in the fall of 2020.
LA Mayor Eric Garcetti announced new ways the city is working to combat the growing problem of illegal dumping. Illegal dumping activities pose a danger to public health and safety, decreases property values, lowers quality of life, and contributes to urban blight. To combat dumping, Garcetti and council members unanimously voted to beef up surveillance, hire more staff dedicated to cleanups, and increase fines for offenders. In June, Mayor Garcetti shared that the Bureau of Sanitation collects an average of 200 28 tons of illegally dumped trash per week. This is up 9% from last year. According to the California Penal Code, an illegal dumping violation comes with a fine of up to $10,000 and a 6-month jail sentence.
Thanks to the leadership of our legislative body, approved an ordinance that I asked them to move forward with. It amends our municipal code to give us more teeth to go after illegal dumping. The changes include higher fines. They've been increased by 300% for your first violation, and you'll pay 150% more in fines for any.
Garcetti called on citizens of Los Angeles to hold each other accountable and encourage them to report any illegal dumping they witness by dialing 311 or downloading the Work app on their phone.
And coming up, the Department of Transportation will start creating new parking stations for electric scooters.
A USC alum will have her documentary screened at the 11th annual Downtown LA Film Festival.
And a new HBO show goes back to the Tulsa riots of the 1920s. We'll see why some believe this is a teachable moment for today's generation. Next.
Encuentra el bosque más cercano en descubreelbosque.org. El Bosque, más cerca de lo que crees.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Hey, Kevin, you thinking about retirement?
I'd love to, but I'm pretty busy with all this.
Yeah. Hey, let's meet our retirement coach, Avo. A is for taking action.
Not anxiety?
No, Kevin, you're gonna be fine.
You sing?
Barely. V is for variety.
And you dance?
Sort of. Come on. O is for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice.
Thanks.
The 11th annual Downtown LA Film Festival begins tonight. Annenberg Media's Evan Falstrup spoke with a film director whose documentary will be shown at the festival.
Ashley Maria is a USC Film School alum who is screening her first feature-length film this Saturday.
It's a film about ambitious women, but what do we do about our culture that is preventing women from really reaching their full potential? Because we all start our careers out, you know, dreaming that if you just work hard, you can accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Maria's film is called Pioneers in Skirts. It's a documentary about the struggles of being a woman in our economy and follows the life of a few women as they try to figure out their passions and careers.
I try to do everything I can to make sure I complete that goal.
Progress for women has stalled out over the last decade.
The game is rigged. We're moving in the wrong direction.
Nearly 40 other films will be screened along with Maria's at the Downtown LA Film Festival. The festival is known for showcasing films by underrepresented groups in cinema like women, people of color, and the LGBTQ community. Maria has advice for women in the film industry and beyond.
Address it and say something. If you're too nervous to say something, or if you feel that person isn't going to listen, sometimes you have to ask someone who that person will listen to. And sometimes that's a guy.
The Downtown LA Film Festival goes through Sunday. For Annenberg Media, I'm Evan Falstrup.
New HBO series is introducing viewers to a forgotten dark chapter in American history. In 1921, at least 300 African Americans were killed in Tulsa, Oklahoma. In the first couple minutes of Watchmen, what was known as Black Wall Street is seen burning down. One professor and a student believe HBO is creating a teachable moment.
The extent to which faculty bring that in and make it relevant to their curriculum is an important strategy that can be effective. And when it's done well and when it's properly framed, it can enrich the kind of educational experiences that students have.
it's so harrowing to just think about and hear the descriptions and depictions of how these black people were just living their lives, and then out of nowhere, and just these white men and come in and just destroy everything.
So far, 1.5 million people have seen the first episode of the 6-part series. Students living in university housing can watch HBO Go for free.
Kelly, I watched it, and I am so excited about the series. I saw the movie. I watched the movie back in the day, and I had no idea the series was going that direction.
I think what HBO is doing, it can set an example for these other networks. And then also, as our professor said, I mean, it's an amazing learning experience for students who may not know what happened in 1921.
You know what? We're going to have a watch party, me and you.
Let's
we're going to watch it together.
Let's
All right,
do it.
well, you know, the weather's really nice right now, but it's really hot.
It's hot. It's terrible.
I'm not wearing this jacket when I leave the studio. I'm just going to be honest with you. Let's check in with our weather anchor, R.A. Taylor, to find out what the weather's looking like this week.
That's right, Cease. Things are absolutely red hot today. And that's why for today's song of the day, we're going to throw it back to the Joe Bros for burning up, because that's exactly what it's doing. Today's temperatures are 90 degrees. So grab your sunscreen, not only because it helps with those wrinkles, guys, going to shield you from that sunlight. But looking at tomorrow's weather, don't get distracted by the sweater here. It's not sweater weather. It's hot. High 80s. Low 90s, relatively round. Big Bear is the only place where it's a little cool. We're going to go out to my favorite place, which is the coast. And we have Thousand Oaks, 89 degrees, Malibu, 86 degrees, San Fernando, 90 degrees. And bringing it back home to the place that we all know and love, USC, 93 degrees. And for our flights and not feelings forecast, 89 degrees at LAX. So now let's look ahead for the rest of the week. It's still going to be super hot, but luckily things are going to cool down a bit at the beginning of next week. So guys, bring it in. I have some news for y'all. The National Weather Service has issued a red flag warning for moderate to strong Santa Ana winds with low humidity and high temperatures. It could soar as high as 97 degrees while winds could travel up to 65 miles per hour. These weather conditions increase the threat of fire danger. Extreme fire behavior could threaten people and homes. Homeowners are advised to clear brush and plants away from their houses. The warning affects the majority of Los Angeles and Ventura counties. It is in effect from late tonight through Friday. We spoke to LA Fire Department about how to reduce the risk of fire and what to do if a fire breaks out.
Right now, brush clearance is one of the biggest things. It's really good that, one, we prepare, and two, when we're told to evacuate, evacuate. Gather your stuff, gather your family, gather your pets, gather medications. You want to be able to get ready to go and evacuate in a calm manner.
LAFD recommends the Ready, Set, Go procedure in the event of a wildfire. Prepare your property, home, and family. Prepare your vehicle, remove flammable items from your houses. Follow evacuation instructions, and tip, leave early. Guys, it's getting rough out there, but back to y'all.
It is, it's fire season. It is really scary. Thank you, Ari. The people really need to hear this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, now to one of my favorite things, electric scooters. I love them. I ride them every day. Let me just be honest with you. The Los Angeles Department of Transportation is devising a plan to deal with the safety issue of electric scooter parking. Transportation officials are concerned many of these electric scooters can be parked in areas with high foot traffic. Since there are no designated parking areas, students can leave these scooters anywhere.
I get it. I get the convenience of it, but whenever people leave them, they just knock them over to the floor, and it's dangerous because I trip a lot.
I understand why people get frustrated with it and are worried about where people park them, but on the app it does tell you where you are and are not allowed to park the scooters, so as long as you pay attention to that, it should be fine.
Due to parking concerns, some experts are pushing to create designated areas for these electric scooters. Now let's move on to sports. Our sports anchor Noah Camras is here to talk about USC football and the NBA. What's going on?
That's right, Cecil. The Trojans are coming off a huge win over Arizona, but will not be at home this weekend, which does not bode well for their chances. We'll tell you why. The MLS playoffs are underway, and two LA teams find themselves up against each other in a huge game. We'll get you ready for El Tráfico Part 6. And finally, the NBA is back, and the Laker-Clipper rivalry is in full effect. We'll get you ready for their next 3 matchups. But first, let's pause for a 7th inning stretch. We'll be back with sports right after the break.
Hi, I'm Smokey Cole Bear, filling in because for 75 years, Smokey only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
Meanwhile, the song was wrong. We did start the fire. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother, you, your football buddy, your football buddy. You, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse.
Yes.
You, your dog walker, your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back to ATVN. The Trojans have looked really good this year when they play at home. In an alternate universe where the Trojans only played home games, they'd be averaging 40 more passing yards per game, scoring 6 more points per game, and forcing 1 more turnover per game. And they'd be 7-0. But unfortunately for USC, they have to play on the road. And because of that, the Trojans sit at 4-3 on the year and will travel to Boulder this weekend to take on a Colorado team that sits at 3-4 and is last in the Pac-12 South. On the road, however, the Trojans cannot overlook this game. And while the Trojans will try to conquer their road woes, they'll be without some key pieces on both sides of the ball. The Trojans will definitely miss the presence of both Drake Jackson and Talanoa Hufanga on defense as they try to slow down Colorado quarterback Steven Montez. And on the other side of the ball, the Trojans' top 3 running backs on the depth chart will all be out for an extended period of time. Last week, Trevor urged the Trojans to feed Marquis Step and even called him the next great Trojan running back. Understandably, the injury hit Trevor hard. Here he is with more.
That's right, Noah. My heart got stepped on when it was announced that Marquis Step needs ankle surgery and will be out for several weeks. I thought about taking some time off myself, but that's not what he would have wanted me to do. For this week's Trevor's Tape, I'm going to take a look at some of his best moments of 2019. Who could forget the time he scored against Utah and shook Reggie Bush's hand in the end zone? An unsportsmanlike penalty has never been so worth it. Or when he got stuffed at the 3-yard line against Notre Dame and still found a way to battle into the end zone to keep USC in the game in the 4th quarter. Then, of course, there was his last touchdown run against Arizona last week. Such a pure display of speed, power, and swagger. See you in 3 to 5 weeks, my friend. As hard as it is, I'll adopt USC football's mantra, so what, now what? And next up at running back is true freshman Keenan Christian. Last week, Christian showed off his legit track speed. Here he takes the handoff. It looks like the safety has an angle. But nope, in the open field, you simply can't catch Keenan. It's a good Twitter handle for him. 55 yards for a touchdown, 1 of 2 on the day. Kristen entered the season as USC's 5th-string running back. Now he's the only healthy back who was recruited on scholarship. It'd be nice if he could put together another 100-yard performance, but the Trojans are very thin at running back behind him. Noah, this week I think the Trojans overcome their injury woes, come out motivated, and beat Colorado 42-21. Who you got?
Yeah, Trevor, I'm going to stick with you also. I got the Trojans 31-20 and getting their first road win of the year. And speaking of first, women's soccer suffered their first road loss of the year and will look to bounce back this week against the Washington teams. At number 2 and 4 in the Pac-12 standings, these Washington teams will be a handful for the Trojans all weekend. But a weekend sweep would solidify the Trojans as the 2nd best team in the conference behind Stanford. And there's another big soccer game taking place in LA tomorrow. Let's send it back over to Trevor, who has more on El Tráfico.
USC, UCLA, Lakers, Clippers, Rams, Chargers, and now El Tráfico, the budding rivalry between LAFC and LA Galaxy. The pair faces off for the 6th time tomorrow in the second round of the MLS Cup playoffs. To say these teams don't like each other is an understatement. Since 2018, LAFC has been the better team on paper, but the Galaxy don't seem to care. Behind Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Galaxy has beaten LAFC in 3 of 5 meetings. They've tied twice, but LAFC has never beaten their neighbors 12 miles to the south. I'll go ahead and cut to the chase. All eyes will be on 2 world-class players, Carlos Vela and Zlatan. They're the 2 leading goal scorers in the MLS by far, and both have played in Europe's most prestigious leagues. The only difference in the resumes is the titles. Zlatan has won 11, Vela has 0. In the regular season, LAFC had the most wins of any team and set the MLS record for most goals scored in a season, so they'll be the favorites, but numbers tend to go out the window in this rivalry. Back to you guys at the desk.
Well, let me just say thank you guys, and LAFC. I'm a fan, if you didn't know. Thank you guys for amazing coverage as always. A local YMCA is creating new opportunities for young people to get active and healthy.
We'll see how the LAPD is offering a helping hand with this new clinic.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
You.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Being prepared is a part of who you are. But it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things. But all of them are pure love.
Under Armour and the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation are renovating a new fitness clinic in the Weingart YMCA to help promote a healthy lifestyle for the community and provide healthy meals for young people.
The most exciting thing is the opportunity to see LAPD come into this space that they come in every week to mentor these kids, but get a little bit deeper in terms of the connection and provide a safe place for kids to come, but also provide an inspiring space for them to grow and learn.
What we did is we had kind of an old multi-purpose room, so we tore out the flooring and we're putting in brand new rubber flooring. We also gave it a facelift, a bunch of painting, fixing some holes in the wall, replacing doors and things like that.
LAPD officers are helping build this new YMCA fitness clinic.
Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News from everyone at Annenberg Media. I'm Cecil Hannibal.
And I'm Kellie Miller. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Have a great night.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps.
Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you